Hey everybody, it is Bethany from Mercury Tarot. I'm coming on tonight. It is Saturday night and I wanted to do a reading. I didn't come on the last couple of days because I kind of felt like something was going to happen, and I kept waiting to see if it's like hanging on the edge of something when you feel like something's going to happen but you don't know quite what it is. And so far nothing has come out other than a big old rainstorm we had this morning. So I thought I would, okay, I'm going to sit down tonight and I'll do a reading for you all. And I'm going to start off by doing a reading on the Brian situation. Where are we now? How do we feel the investigation is going? I'm trying to keep it general. I'm trying not to require too much energy from Gabby, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are begging for her attention, and I really don't want to be calling on that so much. And for Brian, his energy is really weird right now. Like, there's not a lot of answers. It just feels very muddled. So the first thing that I did was I have this deck that I pulled from, and it's the first time I've ever used this deck. It's called Black Moon Astrology cards. And I pulled 3 cards to signify the heading for the reading, the way I wanted it to go. So the first one that came up was this card here, which it says water element, and it says sensing at the bottom. So the energy of this card is water and sensing. You know, and I'm looking at that card in the viewfinder, and it almost looks like there's stuff buried underneath the water. Take from that what you will. But water is a good conducive property. It transmutes energy and moves it along. Transmutes, that's the word I'm looking for. Anyways, moves it along. I'll give you an example of that. We live on the river, and it's a fairly large river, and we're not directly on the river. We're actually back quite a ways. I can see it in the fall, like when the leaves all fall off, I can see it, and usually in the dead of winter I might be able to see it a little bit. But what I do know is that over the years, there have been a lot of deaths in this river. It's one of the major ones in the state. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of drownings. There's been a lot of suicides. There's been a lot of everything in there. So this water becomes sort of it helps to amplify the energy that's out there. And there have been times when I've had things show up in this house that had to do with something that happened on the river, not necessarily in my area, that the energy shows up in the house because they sense that I have some abilities, they see it as a bright light, they're attracted to it, and it has caused some problems in the past. Not that it does right now, but I'm just saying water has this ability to carry that energy forward. And so keep that in mind. And it may be, there's a reason why they used it a lot for divination. Okay, so the second card I pulled was Void of Course Moon. I'll bring it up so you can see it. And it says missing. And I was like, okay, well, all right, we'll go with that one. And the third card I pulled, I kid you not, was Mercury Retrograde, which we're in right now, by the way, for the next, 2 days, something like that. And it says reinvention. So when I started this, I wasn't going to talk that much about Brian. I really didn't want to. But it looks like the cards have a different story for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards. As Ghost Talk Tarot says, good old Brian. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and draw some cards. Make sure I got everything. I don't usually do opposites, so let me make sure I'm headed the right direction here to start with. So we're gonna do an overall energy for how the investigation is right now. I know there's still a lot of speculation on Carlton Reserve. I know that they found something they didn't expect, and that was somebody else they found while they were in there. So, I mean, I don't even know if they've actually released that, but I get the impression that they're finding a lot, as they're searching for him, they're finding a lot of things that they didn't know were out there, or people that they didn't know were out there. So, yeah, so it is drawing attention to other cases that are out there. So, yeah. I don't do a lot of watching of the media. I try not to be influenced by that. I do look to see if he's been caught every day. Honestly, look to see if he has been caught. But other than that, I don't really get into a whole lot, and because I don't want to be influenced. And the same with the other cases. It's funny because this card just came up. This was Judgment, and the one that slipped out of the deck at the beginning was Judgment. So this is that Crow Tarot that I've used before. Judgment it can be a couple of different things. It can mean bringing justice to something, which there is another card that's Justice. So Judgment can be a settlement of a situation. It can also mean that it is a almost rebirth. And if you look at there are crows down here that are coming up, that are rising forth. And they're rising forth out of water. So yeah, so that is interesting. We're going to pull a couple more cards on that. So I want to know what it is that is actually, I haven't asked a question yet, and they're jumping. What it is about this investigation. What are they crossing? What is the thing that's holding them back? What is their biggest deterrent from solving this? What is the thing that's holding it back? What is keeping them from finding him? Well, other than somebody else being involved, because there's somebody else in there. I feel like as parents even know that things are getting bad, that they may have held out thinking, you know, just go take off for a while until things calm down, and they didn't realize that something's not right. What is the thing that's holding back the investigation? What is the thing that is keeping them from finding him during this investigation? I'm going to try and feed in on the energy of the actual investigation, the people who are doing it. Just here on shore. It's so vast out there. It's like a needle in a haystack, which we all know. Please, I'm saying things that you all know, but I mean, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. This is for entertainment purposes only, by the way. All right. What is the thing that's holding them back? I feel like they've had some contact with him, whether I mean, like through a third party type of situation. Okay. I think and in a way, they're almost hoping that the media will die down, because everybody's watchful eyes is just making it harder on them. I don't know how that can happen, but, and that they are the Page of Wands. So we've got a youthful energy. It feels like there was this rush out there in the beginning, like they thought it wasn't going to take this long, like they expected. Okay, that's way too many cards. They expected it to go faster than it has, and so they're really surprised that it's gone on this long, and that they've Wheel of Fortune. Everything takes a chance, up and down. They get, if this, I'm hearing hamster wheel is what I hear. So it's like chasing your own tail, so to speak. Like they are running around like crazy trying to find all of these things, and yet they're somehow, I don't want to say they're missing something that's right in front of them. This feels like a very chaotic energy to me. It feels like they're all tired, one for all. Okay, so is there someone that's helping Brian right now, who is physically with him, that's helping him hide and getting him food? Because I don't know how he would be hidden if he wasn't. He's got the most wanted face out there. So is there someone directly there helping Brian? Yes, it's, okay. Somehow his mother is orchestrated, and for entertainment purposes only. Okay. A motherly figure is helping him. See, there's two lions on there. This is the Queen of Wands. They have a good idea of where he is. Don't let that little trip his father took fool you. But she is concerned. I think that she has somehow orchestrated a way to get something to him. She comes across as passive, but she's actually very strong. She's, yeah. So, I'm not saying that she has been doing this. I'm just saying that there is a female dominant energy that is a nurturing energy that has been helping with him. I feel like it's older, but I don't, I don't necessarily feel like it's Gabby. Although I do think that she is with him. Ooh. Truth. Yeah, that's not a very good one. Yeah, his energy is not very good at all. All right. The other day I pulled a card that said he was in the mountains. I don't feel like he's in the mountains. What gets me is I keep going back to that person that guy saw. And I'm like, how can that happen? How can, unless, I mean, there's always possibility that it was just a mix-up. I think for source of food, I mean, you can, yes, you can live forever out there in the wild if you know how. He is not in a very good location as far as for that. Let's face it, there's a lot more things out there that would love to carry him off. All right. So how is this investigation going to move forward this week? Are we going to find out more this week? Are we going to find evidence of him this week? Factual evidence. Is there going to be factual evidence of him this week? Of his presence? See, the police can't release too much because then they're kind of tipping their hand. They may also back off because they want him to think that they are giving up. And I think few who would like to, unfortunately. Will we hear of more evidence this week about where Brian is? We're going to hear more about where he is. We're going to hear more about that. See, I'm not getting a lot. Whoops. There we go. The Magician, the ability to transform his existence and his appearance. He's clever, if not intelligent. Goes back to, we had one that was that card at the beginning. Which one was it? It was the Mercury Retrograde one, I think. Said reinvention. Is that what he's doing? He's trying to reinvent himself to get away? That's kind of what this card would be. All right. So we're going to we'll do a card on his general well-being. How is Brian's general well-being? Ace of Swords. There's that transformation again. That ability to... Does that make him more decisive? That makes him more decisive. But see, this says to me very clear, I've been getting muddled energy, but this doesn't say muddled energy. This says the ability to clear cut through anything. All right, we'll do one more on that. One, not six. All right, one more card. Here we go. Is there a message that the spirits would like to give us on this case? Anyone in particular? Is there a message that anyone would like to give us Okay, like I said, one card at a time. Is there a message the Spirit would like to give us regarding this case? I hear live life. Message at Spirit. Message that Spirit would like us to know. Regarding this case. It's about the money. It's about the power. It's somebody who's sitting on their throne who's controlling all of this. Not necessarily for the good. Somebody, obviously more than somebody in this case, does not have Brian's or Gabby's heart in mind when dealing with this. There's a cloak over this that is being manufactured. It's sad. It's really sad. So, all right. So that's it for Brian. We do have a full moon coming up. Is it the 20th? I think the 20th. Full moon in Aries is coming up. So we'll draw some cards on that. If you are familiar with Aries energy, it can be very direct, but also very much about passion and whole heart and soul. Putting your whole heart and soul into things. But you know, is not completely blind to anything else, but tends to at first glance see the black and white of things. They can be fiery, but boy, let me tell you, you don't have a better cheerleader or protector than an Aries energy. All right, what do we need to know for this full moon in Aries that is coming up? I haven't checked to see what what it's going to be affecting, so to speak, but yeah. Emotions are running high. Let's see. But luck is on your side. So you may have that outburst, but luckily you're going to be able to pull yourself out of it and show the world the real you. I think that's a good message for that, isn't it? Be careful of outbursts, but if you do, know that you've got what it takes to pull yourself out and to really put your true self into something. All right. We do have Mercury Retrograde going direct, as I said, on the 18th. Yes. For those of you who are dealing with mechanical issues, contracts that don't end, or like me, waiting on job applications that are just sort of sitting out there doing nothing. This will start to come to an end and things will start to move forward again. So if you are holding out on those things, usually at this time, this Mercury retrograde tends to have to do with relationships, and those relationships can be a business relationship, they can be a personal relationship, they can be a relationship between your cat and you, they can be, you know, whatever it is that you have to have a relationship, a intermingling between two people, and the difficulties that are involved with that. So yeah, so we'll pull some cards on that. I think that'll probably do it for tonight. So yeah, so let me make sure I've got this one is actually a deck that my daughter gave me. This is, talk about Aries energy. This is the Steampunk Tarot, and it's sort of a reimagining. If you're not familiar with what steampunk is a genre that sort of incorporates otherworld, alternate world, or alternate universe with sort of this mechanical age, you know, so like they have you might see hot air balloons, but you might also see mechanical cats, or you might see, you know, it's this sort of wild reimagining of most of the time it's in our Edwardian England. If you've seen the movie The Wild Wild West with what is his name? Fresh Prince. Yeah, most of you know who I'm talking about. That was steampunk. That was a definite retelling of that story as a steampunk. All right. So we have a young energy here, bound and determined to go on a crusade. Somebody who's trying to move forward, has this sort of energy of being, you know, that dashing. All I could think was crusades. You know, that's what I mean. It was like, we're going for the greater good. You know, that sort of youthful, I don't know what I'm getting myself into bit. Yeah. Of course, that can be really dangerous. It can also be a really big learning experience. All right, and what do we need to know for the opposition against this crusade that we're looking to? It's funny because the word, my husband and I were talking about Trojan horses earlier, so it sort of comes to mind. And I said, you know, if it was me and I looked out and there was this horse made of wood, I probably would have just set it on fire. You know, yeah, that's not nice. But if I thought they were going to attack, I'd have just set the sucker on fire. So yes, what is in opposition to this journey that we're going to be sort of embarking on, this crusade? The world is coming up again. You know, it's fate has its own way of dealing with it, and whatever actions you make, there is a consequence. You know, that's the thing about the wheel, the world, the wheel of fortune and the world are very similar to me. Both of them signify the same type of thing to me. The wheel says up and down. The world says it's a bigger issue than what you think it is. So be careful not to go tilting at windmills that are bigger than you can handle. Boy, I put a lot of metaphors in this thing tonight. All right, and the outcome for this new moon, not new moon, full moon in Aries. What is our outcome for that? Then we got 2. So 7 of Pentacles. Those things that you put in the effort will grow and reap the benefit. And you'll attain much knowledge, because as I said, knowledge can happen from even mistakes. In fact, they're probably your biggest learning experience are going to be mistakes. People think they're wrong to make mistakes, but they really are. They're your greatest teacher. All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. We got the Empress again. Queenly energy. Maybe she's the one who's going out and tilting at windmills. All right. As I said, thank you to everyone who has jumped on here. It's amazing to me the amount of support that I've gotten. And also, I feel like I've made some friends. And that's, you know, I mean, it's quirky. You're never, probably never gonna, we're probably never gonna meet in person, but it's not the same thing. And it's like finding a tribe of people who think the same way you do, which is a great blessing. It really is. So I thank you all for joining along on the journey, and I want to wish you all the best. You know, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm going to send you blessings from Maine. Bye-bye.